This stuff here, Yerushalmi Pesachim, the article Oz V'Hara edition of Daf Hey Amud Aleph, the fourth line down, Rabbi Yehuda. We also buy Slotzer B'dika, and that is in the Vilna on Daf Gimel Amud Beis, the fifth line for the bottom. Now we said that yesterday, if you lost you had bread. You weren't careful of kli. You left it in the house after because chametz, and now it's gone. You have to check that house. Don't check other houses, but you have to check that house. So now the Gemara wants to say, well, but Rabbi Yehuda not necessarily. If you also buy to b'dika, a household. Yishmin Ado, we'll derive from here. So again, Yishmin Ado here is not used, as you said yesterday, not used in its normal context. It means we have a question, let's resolve it. Rather, we just made a statement. Let's demonstrate it to you. So Rabbi Yehuda said, there was a story with the maidservant of a mesik. A mesik is an olive grower. So he had a shivcha, and Rimon, she never chalabor, and she had a miscarriage. And Kohen Kohen came to the rim of the bore to know if what the story was. Was it a male or female in terms of Tuma Tara for Zachan and Keva? And that Kohen evidently forgot. He's a Kohen. He's not to go, shouldn't be Matame himself to go. Okay, so the question is now that he went, that's what the court made. It says, he didn't remember that Isser, or it was oblivious, didn't know it, whatever. So but now we want to know if Kohen became Tomei. The story came from Chachamim Tiru, and they said he's Tar. Why should there chulda bailas deals going also? Because normally the chulda, the moles and the bailas, which if I recall correctly is a type of weasel. If you looked it up, female hyena. The tzavua is a male hyena, bailas is a female hyena. Anyway, they normally drag it away. So they drag it away. There's nothing left. No, to check. You drag it away and they eat it. So therefore, the same thing should be with chametz. That if you took care about the chametz, assume that a chulda or barbaros took the chametz and took it away and eat it. And just like over there, evidently this story of Rabbi Yehuda is, well, it says actually on Rabbi Yehuda. So it says that Rabbi Yehuda said over there that might say shivcha acha, so he should say he's standing over here. So Gemara says no, it's not necessarily true. Roti achar basar. Chulda barbaros, they go after meat. And they drag it away. If they don't go after bread. The bread is a problem. So even that house, you still have to check from the bread after the chametz goes missing. And the truth is, maybe you're going to say it does run after meat and after bread. But basar gores v'chelas, the meat, it drags and it eats as a whole piece. It drags away the meat and it eats it wherever it eats it. Whereas pas gores menachas, but the bread, it crumbles. It might grab the bread and start working with it, but some bread is going to remain in place. So therefore, again, even though the chulda barbaros could drag away the bread, but some bread can remain here. Therefore, you still have to check the entire house. Rabbanan Kisar said, "Ein choshishim shema gira chulda." We're not choshish that a chulda is removed it, and therefore here chashash means that there's a chashash is not chashish l'kula. We don't say kula. We don't say the chulda may drag away the dead body, and evidently even there definitely is a chulda here. We don't say that drag away the dead body, and therefore we've been time made the Kohen. Chibla chashim. Maybe this says chashim, and again it means where we know that there's a chulda there, and therefore, as the Kormei says, the chashim Rabbi filo kula kamar. The mistama gira chulda. we said we assume the chul was dragged away, but then the Chachamim does a fascinating conclusion. It says if we're choshesh l'kula, choshesh l'chumra. Oh, that's the case. So you need b'dika in the house, not just with the bread, with the bread, but you need b'dika daf l'makam, or because we're afraid that in the chulda dragged it. We'd say the chulda dragged it, but it could be that it dragged it and left crumbs there, just like they left crumbs there and in the original location. So if we have to check that makam both suffice. In that house, you have to check the various locations because yes, chulda's gored, but it leaves crumbs all over the place. Okay, dalit. You can eat chametz the entire 5th hour. And you burn the chametz at the beginning of the 6th hour. You can eat the entire 4th hour. And then you can leave it around, but you can't eat it during the 5th hour. And you burn at the beginning of the 6th hour. So Rabbi Yehuda says you have to stop eating an hour earlier. So what's in the Kudas of Machlokas here? So the one it says, the Isser Chametz of afternoon on Erev Pesach is only Drabanan. So therefore, they're machmir and said that you have to. They weren't machmir. They say you can eat the entire 5th hour and burn it at the beginning of the 6th hour. Okay, so the Rabbi Yehuda says no. They have from 6 hours and beyond, from noon and on our Pesach, it's also midirabbin Torah. So they made our chaka. Rabbanan made our chaka and said, okay, and therefore stop eating an hour earlier. You have to you're going to eat 4 and until you call chamesh, and then start with tchil shesh. What I should have clarified in the Mishnah, I'm going to clarify now, is noon is Sof Shar Shishis. It's the end of the 6th hour. So both Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda hold that we're machmir, and we say, okay, whatever, whether it's the Rabbanan afternoon or the Raisa afternoon, becomes usher at noon, and therefore you have to, and we told you have to burn an hour beforehand. You have to burn it at the beginning, not at the end of the 6th hour, which is the beginning, which is noon, but the beginning of the 6th hour, which is 11 a.m. on the equinox day, assuming no daylight savings time, right? So everybody agrees you have to burn it by 11. The question is between 10 and 11. So males are going to eat between 10 and 11 because it's since after 12. And so Rabbanan, okay, their Machman said burn an hour earlier, but they didn't say you have to be more Machman than that. It says no, since it's the Raisa after 12. So yes, burn from the beginning of 11. So, but at the beginning of 11. But to stop eating, you have to stop eating already from 10 a.m. Now, as Kormei points out in the Mishnah, when it says totally you have to stop eating, but you can feed it to your animal. You get benefit from it. You just can't eat. Okay, but in any event, when we tell you more about Sheshos Malon, that's noon, which is the beginning of the 7th hour. And that's whether it's the Rabbanan Doraisa. In the Mishnah, it said the burn mitchila shishis, that's 11 a.m., an hour earlier. Okay, so so Gemara says, okay, what's the Nekudas Machlokas here about whether the afternoon of Erev Pesach is Asur or not Asur? So my time, it says even on the first day, that's the 15th day of Nisan. That's when you have to touch pieces of Batechem. You have to get rid of the chametz. Okay, so start when it gets dark. Tamlamar ach. Ach means even, and that comes to add on. Okay, what does it come to add on? It adds on an hour before Shkia. So the Issa Daraisa kicks in, according to Meir, only an hour before Shkia. Not the entire afternoon, only an hour before Shkia. My time, Rabbi Yehuda. It's the logic of Rabbi Yehuda. So Ach b'yom rishon zeyu dalet. Says no. For Yom Rishon in this pasuk doesn't refer to the Tesvav. Refers to Yudalet, which is the first day, even though it's before Pesach. Because obviously that's when the observances of Pesach begin with Korban Pesach. So Yochel Kol Yom Kulo. So okay, so it's maybe you'll say Chametz is also the entire 14th day, and you have to get rid of Chametz from the night before. Time or morning, but why only halfway through the day? Time ach is only a mute, right? So okay, it's saying it's a fascinating Purei Moshe. We'll see in a minute. So Alketa Chalokas Yom Chetzi L'Chametz Matzah. Divide the day half for chametz, half for matzah. Okay, so we might learn achazimiyut. So it's might. It excludes half of the day, but the Bnei Moshe says now. Wait, say tamar chalokas hayom chetzi chametz chetzi matzah. Ach chetzi gematria. Ach is chetzi gematria. If you go with the code of the achas betagif. Achas and aleph is interchangeable with the ches and the samach. A base is interchangeable with the tes and ayin. He wants you to change it with the unit pay, right? It's a chatz, and that was interchangeable with chav and tzadik. So you take the ches instead of the aleph, and you take the tzadik instead of the chav, and you get chetz. Divide up the day in half. As the article brings out, note 22, both pshatim are brought down Rashi in the Daf Hemel from Pesachim. One is that because ach is a mute, and the other is because of the gematria, which is fascinating thing because it's we don't usually learn halacha from gematria. There are a couple of cases like Lamites Malachos. We learn from the word Eila. I forget what the next word is, which is somehow the 36 Malachos. We learn from there's some Eila, and then I forget the next word is, from which we learn the other three. But there are a couple places we learn gematria, but it's very rare. So in any event, but that's two interpretations of how we learn from the word ach. Okay, so Amar Shov Bar Abdume, I skipped. Sorry. Mechavish Desar Amer. The Amer seems to contradict himself. Tamon, here, Yerushalmi means, when it says Tamon, it means here. Ach, Amar Ach L'Rabos. So as a Pnei says, "Korban Pesachim Gabi Chametz Zosh Ach LeRabos LeSoshal Achas Kodim Shkeis Achama." Says Achas a ribui, right? Even, right? As we translated before. The Vahacha, but here Achlamite. Where's here? So the Pnei Moshe explains. Come the Beitz of Pliger and Meir Rabbi Yehuda B'Machshir Ochel Nevesh B'Yontiv. Whether you're allowed to do preparations for Ochel Yoter. Either matir, either permits it, or may also. It's also Kistam Maslis Perek Beitza, Perekan the Megillah, that the aim being Yoter the Shabbos Ochel Nevesh Yuvad. The only Shabbos Yoter is actual Ochel Nefesh, not Machshiri Ochel Nefesh. So the mayor is Machmir Machshiri Ochel Nefesh. You can do the Ochel Nefesh, but not Machshir, like preparing things to prepare the Ochel Nefesh. By Talmud Perekan Beitza, Rabbi Yehuda Matir Ab Machshir Ochel Nefesh. The difference is because Rabbi Yehuda allows you even to do Machshir Ochel Nefesh, preparations to do Ochel Nefesh. Markinim Yotif, you can sift the grain on Yotif. Manda Asar, and those who asar and Parashashim and see to sift the grain on Yotif. The Chsib Ach Asher Chol Nefesh L'Bado Yetzalachem. Right? It says, Ach, it's one mute. Asher Chel L'Chol Nefesh, who is the second mute? Levado is the third mute. Ach, Hu Levado is Shloshim mutin. Shlo Yiktzor, you can't harvest. Shlo Yitchol, not to grind. V'lo Yirakid, and can't sift the grain. Am Ach L'Maidu. So you see, Ach is a mute, not a ribui. It means with this translation would mean kind of like but, however, not even, right? So that's case it's a contradiction. What does ach mean? Is it a ribui? Is it a mute? Is it like even? Or is it however? So, so again, the question is, Tamanu Amar Achla Rabos, by us. V'acha by in Beitzo Amar Achla Mait. Says it's a ribui mute. So Amar Shabbat Avduma Mia Tosha Ena B'chametz. So he says, no, here too it's a mute. As Korban Eid explains, so Hachinam mute the my kula yom yadam is a chametz. It removes the day of Yudah from the prohibition of chametz. Lo tema yom rishon yudaudu. You shouldn't say yom rishon means yudaud like Rabbi Yehuda. Kachsib ach to remove yom yudaud. Eno asa miktsasa. Only part of it is asa. So he also holds, according to this, that yom rishon refers to yudaud, but not excluding most of yudaud, right? And it's enough to answer 1 hour before Shkia. And the Korban have a different shot, but which the article goes with. But I like the plain motion that now comes that they both can agree that Yudalit is actually the Yom Rishon. But the question is, question is what Ach is Memait. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's Memait. It makes it half the day, right? And that's why the Josh of Achet is very convenient, because they know that it's half. According to a mayor, it's a night the whole day, except you can't be night its entirety, so if you have to leave an hour before Shkia. According to Reb Chaim and the Korban on the article, it's still going to Tezvav, but that's why I think it's what she uses the Pnei Moshe. Okay, so Remeir says, Lo T'chal of Chametz. Okay, what about the Korban Pesach? It says, Lo T'chal of Chametz. Don't eat on it Chametz. So, Remeir says, Lo T'chal of Chametz Achilaso. Literally, when you eat it. In other words, the Iker prohibition is of Chametz does start before Pesach itself. And what about the Korban Pesach? It says, yeah, don't eat Chametz. Don't eat the Korban Pesach when you have Chametz. Rabbi Yehuda Meir, Lo T'chal of Chametz is not just on the on when you're eating the Korban Pesach, right? But olav means hasiyasa, because after all, Lo T'chal of Chametz means don't eat chametz on it. But who says it's not necessarily talking about achila? Like Meir is saying, yeah, it could say, well, it says achila, maybe it's talking about achila also the Korban Pesach, but not necessarily. Lo T'chal of Chametz is going on olav when the Korban Pesach kicks in, and the Korban Pesach is kosher from noon on Erev Pesach. At that time, you're not allowed to have chametz in your possession. So this is not a full expression of it. According to this, when Rameir will come out that it's not also at all till Pesach starts, but you say this separate issa rather of the chametz is there's consistent. Rameir holds it doesn't start before Pesach because it's a time achilas of Pesach. It says no, it starts already in the afternoon. At the same time, the chametz comes also. Midaraisa, which is at the time a noontime on Erev Pesach. And this we have fascinating conclusion what it has here. Rabbi Isa Aseba Losa say al Achilasai and Achila of Korban Pesach. He has an assay a Lotasay. The Los Lav Chametz is the Losasay. What is the essay? We're going to see momentarily. I just looked it up. It's coming up. Okay, but and also and say let's say a bureau. So there's an assay let's say on bir chametz on Erev Pesach. And there's this reading here, and Sher Carbon somewhere else, I'm not sure where. So it says that from here is choice of the Rambam, who says they over by Motzei on Erev Pesach. Shitas Yerushalmi. It's not just by Motzei, it doesn't kick in just when Pesach begins. No, it kicks in on Erev Pesach from the 6th hour, from the 7th hour, the end of the 6th hour. So the And now we're going to explain. Aseh achilaso is shivas yamim tochal olav matzos, right? It says for 7 days you should eat on it matzos, for lo chametz, not chametz. Okay, so it says eat matzos and not, and we derive this not chametz. Kol los aseh shubam mikoach, but aseh it's a los aseh, right? Don't eat the chametz, so it's an aseh, right? Even though lav, which is phrased in aseh, is an aseh. It says shivas yomim. It sounds like we're just going to the mitzvah of eating matzah because the mitzvah of Korban Pesach is a only the first night. Nevertheless, it says olav. So we say, okay, it start whenever the Korban Pesach kicks in, that's when it starts, right? So therefore, 7 days plus the olav. Meaning from the time Korban Pesach starts, because the Shita so that when the time you have Siyas Pesach, that's when you have Shivas Yom B'tocha Matzos. And this we derive also not chametz. That's a lav, no, but since phrase and say, right? What's the Russian name? Yeah, let's just point that out. It's lav abam mikla say. That's right. So that's the Russian in the Bible always. So the lo taseh achilas. And the lo taseh, of course, we learned right now, right? Lo tochal of chametz. And he the Korban Pesach chametz. Aseh biro. So now he says the same thing applies to the chametz. Aseh biro tashbis su'or. You have to desist from having su'or. Lo taseh biro, lo taseh biro, shivas yamim, sorely matzei baseichem. Right? And since it's linked to Korban Pesach, so therefore this, even though it says 7 days, really it kicks in already, like the Rambam says, from the time of the Korban Pesach. Okay, so now it gets back to let's go back to the Meir. Right. So the Meir says for 6 hours and beyond is the Rabbanan until an hour before Shkia. Right. Shvi is asim shungeter. So the 7th hour, meaning from noon and on, is only is a getter. It's the Rabbanan, right? It's a mishmeres. So shishis lama. So why Josh is from 11 o'clock, not just 12 o'clock. We should gather also because of gather. Yesh gather is a gather. It's like xera. Right? It's a classic xera. Make it gather. You made a gather the 12th hour from the 6th hour, from 12 noon. Make an additional gather from an hour before. It's xera. How does it work? Right? Ella yes says well yes because shishis mischava b'shvis. Because the 6th and 7th hour, the sun is overhead. It's hard to distinguish. So therefore they said, okay, we're not going to let you just stop and make a gather for the 6th hour. Because we want to make it for 6 hours, we already have to start an hour before because people get mixed up between the 6th and 7th hours. Okay, so now we're going to ask Rabbi Yehuda, right? Rabbi Yehuda said, Rabban already asked it from Chamesh Shema, they asked you to eat from 10 a.m., right? So, wait a second. Shishis, assume shim gather. From 11 a.m. it's a Rabbanan. But you'd say you have to burn it at 11 a.m. Fine, but that's a Rabbanan. So chamish is lo mishum gather. So now you ask an additional hour also because of another gather? Yesh gather together? Why do we have a gather together? It's again, according to him, xera. So it must be that he holds, no, you already can make a mistake from 10 a.m. And as the sun is high up in the sky, they can make a mistake between the 5th hour and the 7th hour, between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. So that seems to contradict what Rabbi Noah says elsewhere. But Chavish does Rabbi Yehuda. This seems a contradiction in Rabbi Yehuda. The Talmud, there he says the 5th and 7th hours don't get mixed up. So there's name Moshe brings down well the Machlokes Sanhedrin. Kashi De'adi Day. The Talmud Omer Echa Mitzchav Shvis Gabe Edus Perkei Sanhedrin. The 5th hour Sanhedrin goes see Kula Sugi Shem Malachim. It's brought down in Yerushalmi and the Baba is when the Yerushalmi they look him the Moses maybe the Bechom Reb Chamesh shows him Maisa. You have two witnesses. Two witnesses. Echom Reb Chamesh shows him Maisa. One says that whatever happened, a murder happened at 5 hours in the day. Echom Reb Sheva, the other says it happened 7 hours in the day. They do some potato. They this is bato. But Adam shows Yehuda. Even if we say that people can be off by 2 hours, the Yehuda does say there. But somebody says it would happen 3 hours into the day. It happened at 8 a.m. So it happened at 10 a.m. But nevertheless, between 5 and 7, people don't make a mistake. For Yerushalmi, it says there's Chamesh Chamo b'Mizrach. At 5 hours, at 10 a.m., the sun is definitely in the east. Sheva, and at 7 hours, Chamo b'Marav. The sun is in the west. Okay, it's overhead, but it's already towards the west. Why do we here do they make such a mistake if they don't make a mistake like that by Sanhedrin? So it says more. Amar Beis says no, that's not a contradiction. Talmud Adover Muscle Basin. Basin's reason him. So the Korban changed the gears to Adam. It's about Adus, right? So therefore it says Adam are meticulous to observe the hour, and therefore they're not going to stay between 5 and 7. Because the Pnei Moshe does not require that to change the gears. It says the way he puts it is Talmud Adus Adover LeBasin. It's given over to Basin Chokrim B'Darshan or something. They're going to cross-examine. And they'll try to figure out Payne's reason. They're diligent. We told so since they know. Since the Adam know they're going to have to come base and be cross-examined, we told Kacha, Adam needs to be Adam, very careful. Slowly toss Bakach. They're not to make a mistake. Because they know they're going to be cross-examined based in. But here says more Abraham Hacha, Dover Muscle and Nashim. Here it's given over to women, right? For Nashim Atzilos. Now, wherever we translate Atzilos a few days ago, right? Whenever we had it before, whether it means that they're lazy or they're meticulous, whatever it is, they're not paying attention to the time. That's what it boils down to. So therefore, we can't. Here we have to be more machmer. Okay, that's one interpretation. Then we're going to have a resolution of Buddha. We're going to have another resolution of Buddha, but we finished the Amud, so we'll leave the other resolution of Buddha for tomorrow.